Criss on the right. Tim Criss, who's affectionately known as Turtle, will open the match. And the reason the players call him that is because when he came out, he threw the ball so slowly. He likes the nickname, though. McSee's from Maryland, rooting for the Orioles in the championship game tonight. Well, he shreds the rack, but doesn't get the 7-pin out. And Marshall, that was the type of hit. Sometimes both the 7 and the 10 are there.
Well, it certainly could be. It's a shot that the bowlers expect to carry, Mike. That light hit, when the ball comes in from that severe angle, he expected 10 there, but he'll get up and make this spare. As you can see, with a 220 average, fairly good scores this week.
Cross lane at the 7-pin. Has it dead flush. Steve Hoskins is from Tarpon Springs, Florida. He's 5'5", 185 pounds. Won his first title back in 1993 in Grand Prairie, Texas.
And if you like to watch the ball hook, you're going to love Steve Hoskins.
Well, that one hooked a little bit too much, Marsh.
Maybe a little bit tentative, didn't quite get the ball far enough to the right, leaves himself the difficult 4, 6, 7, 10, and he'll switch balls and just try and get 2 of them, being very early in the match.
Hard and straight at the 6-10. Sends it over by the 4-7, but didn't get it.
And we'll take a look at Steve Hoskins, a powerful player, very deliberate in his approach, heel toe with his footwork. Very high backswing, develops a lot of power through the release, really pulls up hard with that wrist. Unfortunately, went right through the heart for the big split.
Well, the overcorrection, the 1-2-4-8.
And you see it so often, Mike, when a bowler goes high on one lane, he makes that adjustment on the wrong lane. Now we'll take a look at Steve Hoskins. Once again, with that very high backswing. Look how far to the right this ball goes. And just doesn't have a chance to recover, Mike.
Did you see where he slid? He slid in the left gutter.
Slid in the left gutter and almost threw the ball in the right gutter.
At the spare.
And important for him to make that spare, as he shows a little emotion right there.
Tim Criss, second frame. And as Steve Hoskins did on this lane, he goes high, leaves only the 3-6-10. So does he take another ball and throw it straight, or does he use this ball and hook it into it?
Well, he's staying with the same ball that he threw for his strike, so I think he's going to just move in a little bit deeper and use his strike shot. Move about 5 or 6 boards left on the approach. Use the strike shot to make this spare.
And of course, Walter Ray's just taken over the last 2 years, and maybe this year also.
Trying for 3 in a row. And right now, Tim Criss trying for 1 in a row.
The 2-8, does that ball just quit at the pocket?
Nah, it wasn't very good.
We take a look at his wife, Sherry, who's going, come on, Tim. A couple more.
And Sherry helps in the PBA press room every week. The wife's contributing out here, probably picking up a couple extra dollars along the way.
Well, it's nice to have her helping us out, and it certainly does give her something to do besides just the constant watching of the bowling.
No trouble with the 2-8. Tim Criss leads by 7 pins. Steve Hoskins steps up on lane 34 in the 3rd frame.
And with even that tough start that Steve Hoskins has gotten off to, he really finds himself in fairly good position. Only down 7 pins. Has a chance to strike here in the 3rd and 4th frame. Take a 3-pin advantage. Mike, I saw more loft on that shot. He extended further out onto the lane. That delayed the roll of the ball. We'll take another look at the shot. Now watch at the bottom of the release as he really sends this ball way out onto the lane. Really projects the ball out onto the lane wonderfully from just inside the 5th arrow, about out to 7 board.
Would you say that again?
Well, from inside the 5th arrow to out to 7 board. I know, it was hard.
How many boards is that?
It's too many to count. But not an uncomfortable shot for Steve Hoskins.
Hoskins with 2 in a row. After 3.5 frames, Steve Hoskins has a minuscule 3-pin lead. Tim Criss, though, is a striking machine when he gets going. Will he get going? We'll find out when we come back right after this. Opportunity to take advantage of this strike and increase that lead from 4 pins to 14.
Very important shot, as I'm sure his wife Lindsay and his 2 children, his daughter, or his wife Lisa, his children Lindsay and Ryan, at home rooting for Dad, would like to see him double up here in the 8th frame.
A little fire there.
He's an excitable young man. We'll take a look at just a beautiful position at the bottom of the swing. Everything comes together for a lot of power, good lift wrist. And how about a reaction from Steve?
Big reaction from Steve. Tim now needs one of his own as he trails by 14 in the 8th frame.
Well, both players have settled down. We've seen a lot of shots in the pocket in the latter part of this game.
Another good shot. Last time the 4-7, this time the 4-pin.
You heard him say he thought that was enough. And what he meant by that was he thought he moved far enough to the left. As we'll take a look at the pin level. Almost trips out the 4-pin. He made a move, Mike Durbin. Wasn't quite enough.
Trouble is, it may be too late now. He goes at the 4-pin. 9th frame, trails by 14. There's the scoreboard right there. Steve Hoskins looked in, seems to have this match in hand. Criss, big strike, needs a strike for sure in the 9th frame here.
Well, very important shot here. If he does not strike here, it takes a lot of pressure off Steve Hoskins, although Hoskins still needs to fill frames. But if Tim Criss can strike in the 9th frame, he could set up a possible 223 game. And that would force Hoskins to either strike in the 9th frame or double in the 10th.
Well, he's got it figured out now on that lane anyway.
I'm not sure what that wry smile is about. Maybe Sherry knows.
Well, I think he heard some noise in the middle of his approach, but he went ahead with the shot and made a good one anyway.
Yeah, those noises never bothered me either, Mike.
I know they never did. Your concentration was impeccable.
Thank you. Hoskins taking a little extra time here.
That's just awesome.
And you see the sign, Hoskins is my hero, and if he keeps throwing the shots like that, he'll be everybody's hero.
Well, our scorekeeper, Dave Smart, has informed us that he needs 7 spare and a strike to lock up the win. Some of the coming up stops next week, the Mobile One Classic in Bay City, and Bay Lanes in Bay City, Michigan. Then we go on for the Ebonite Challenge at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And then we have the Ebonite Challenge at Pinboys of Western Branch in Chesapeake, Michigan, and the Bear Brunswick Touring Players Championship to finish out our fall segment.
And I gather you're going to bowl the last 3.
I'm going to be bowling in Indianapolis, Chesapeake, and in Pittsburgh. So try my hand at throwing the ball for a few weeks.
Oh, good. Right now, Steve Hoskins is going to try his hand at throwing one more strike and cement the first victory.
Well, he is really fired up, Mike, and you know if you need a mark to win a match, especially for a guy that hooks the ball like that, the best kind of mark is just to throw that strike. Now he'll just work on keeping his momentum.
Well, Tim Criss bowled a good game. Could have had strikes and the 6 and the 8. Right now, Steve Hoskins just wired in. Let's take a look at our top finishers here in Rochester. In 6th place, Doug Kent. He's a local favorite from nearby Canandaigua, New York. He just missed.
Parker Bone III, with his $3,000 check, he inches just $5,000 away from his first $200,000 season.
Brian Goebel, he likes it in warm Tucson, Arizona. He's won there 3 different times.
Ernie Schlegel, the Iron Man, has bowled in more PBA tournaments than anyone in the history of the PBA, with almost 800.
And Del Ballard Jr., he's just a PBA National Championship away from becoming the 5th Triple Crown winner and the 2nd Grand Slam winner. Is defeating Tim Criss 247 to 203. Now he moves on to take on Jason Couch, the only left-hander here tonight. Ought to be a good match between 2 of the PBA's young lions. Who'll win, we'll find out when we come back after these important messages.